Welcome to the show, Kristie. How are you?
Hi, this is a dream come true, Marcia. I am great.
I think you are somebody who last Christmas we were able to see like in the top like 0.0001% of listeners of the show. Is that correct?
Yes, that would be correct. And I actually thought when I first looked at it, and I'm not a stats person, but I looked at it and I was like, there's people out there that listen to the show more than me. How's that possible? But yeah.
Oh, you are a podcast listener. You are a client. You've been a friend. You are a friend and I watch what you're doing. And I'm just excited to have you here on the show today. Tell everyone a little bit about what you are doing and who you are right now.
Right this very minute, I am Kristie in the car. Right now, I have been a nurse for 15 years and I have a construction business with my husband. I've had a photography business for like also 15 years. And yeah, I think I'm just like on this precipice of all the things and all the abundance that's coming my way. And I'm just super excited for all of it.
Oh, I love it. So you have the experience in healthcare and you also have so many other aspects of your life and what you do. And in this last year, you've come through, well, I guess that was a year ago. You were an outspoken practitioner and then master practitioner. And I'm just curious, like, how have those tools made a difference for you?
Absolutely life changing. To go back to like when I started nursing, even when I went into nursing in the first place, I was, 18 years old. I was a straight A student. I was just super excited and ready to serve people. And I mean, I think like so many people that go into like social service type positions, they just, they're so rooted in this need to serve and help people. And, you know, I totally dove in and then I started my career in emergency. I then went into flight nursing, which then
Wow.
I also worked psychiatry. And then I went into mental health and addictions for youth, where I spent 7 years doing that and then eventually moved into management and now cancer care. But in that, I will say I spent the whole time just like watching people carrying their past into the present and just like truly not understanding why the system as a whole wasn't helping people live their most best, like thriving lives. And it honestly broke my heart. And like there were moments where it was like questioning why am I doing this? Like, am I enabling this, quote unquote broken wheel to continue? When I mean there's a time and a place where all of these things serve a very important purpose. But I think us as humans, we get so used to outsourcing ourselves and we think more is better, right? We think the more degrees we have, the more money we have, the more whatever it is, that's the answer. And we look to these people with all of their degrees. And I say that with my own, and it's like, myself included. I just been fascinated. Like, why are people truly thriving? And the turning point for me was when I stumbled upon a Facebook post of another nurse, and she was talking about how she decided she was no longer going to people please anymore. And I just remember thinking, you get to decide that? Like, what do you mean you get to decide that? Tell me more. And because I actually thought I had this belief that, you get handed down this pile of crap from your parents and it's your job to carry it. No, actually, it gets to be your job to decide what you're going to put down and what you are going to carry forward. And it's taken me, I'm grateful I've figured that out at the age that I have, because I think that some people don't figure that out. And, but that led me to contacting, because she had tagged the person that she was working with at the time, and that was Miss Megan Ware.
I love that.
And so when I contacted Megan and I worked with her for a year, and pretty much it's been a lifetime ever since, because I just groundbreaking, just the type of work. And I mean, she originally was trained by like the Tony Robbins group, which we know Tony Robbins brought NLP sort of mainstream, right? And just with the work that we've done together, like it's been so transformative of, yeah, I've got to put so many basically backpacks that I've carried, put them down.
Decide what to carry. And when you said something there earlier that like why noticing how people aren't thriving, and how can you see yourself in that, in the sense that when was there a time that you weren't thriving? I know you just shared about how you were finding Meg as a coach, but you weren't thriving to thriving now. And I think it's interesting because thriving, there maybe can be this misconception that like everything is worked out perfectly, everything is like on the right trajectory. And we know that's not true, but I'm just curious how you have noticed not thriving and thriving in your own life.
Yeah. I would say not thriving was when I was looking for the answers everywhere outside myself and doing all of the behaviors that I just thought were normal. And that would be like people pleasing or eating my feelings or just feeling dysregulated all the time. And I know, like, even through my own journey, I don't know, I've left jobs, I've left relationships, I've like had identity leaps, so many of them. And it fascinates me when I take a second to look back to see how far I've come, because I think there was a version of me that didn't believe any of this was possible.
It's always interesting, right? When you have a second, when you invite yourself to just slow down and look at how far you've come, it's like, oh, it's a lot bigger than I thought. Like if you kind of skip over it. And I love how you said that.
Yeah.
So as we talk about this, I'm really curious, like you have the multi-passions of being you have the construction business and photography. You did for, you said 15 years?
Yeah.
Yeah. Really talented in that you have, I'm assuming, a very creative side to you that you love to share.
Love how you say you assume, because you know.
I do know, but I was just trying to make sure it's like people, who don't know you.
Yeah. Yeah. And I always said, like, yes, I had this huge desire to serve, but jokingly, I was taking pictures of a nursing graduation class. And I didn't remember this moment, but one of the instructors had said, we asked Kristie in her second year of nursing, like why she wanted to become a nurse. And she told us so she could afford a camera. So, makes sense.
Yeah. You always had kind of a little bit of an end goal, right? Of what you're going to do. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. And I mean, I have been so blessed to live in both the beauty and the tragedy of Northern Manitoba, because I mean, as I sit here in my car today, there are empty bottles like 6 feet away from me, right? Like there is just so much history of residential school and abuse that has happened. And yet, I'm surrounded by the beautiful trees and the northern lights and the snow as it starts to melt. And so I've always just been just so captivated by the duality of all of it. And I've been so privileged to be able to document that through my own vision.
Thank you for sharing that. And I mean, that creativity piece is so important because you start to tap into it more. But I also love how you said, being able to see both sides and the duality of it. Now, I know it feels like it's going back and forth, but I was just curious. I really want to ask this question. Knowing what you know today, what did some of those years teach you when you were dealing with, like, I haven't talked to a lot of people who worked in teen, like substance abuse, addiction, and recovery. I just haven't. And it's so interesting. What do you think some of those years taught you?
Well, so much. Like I remember so many of the parents would drop off their kids and say, I need you to help me fix them. It's like interesting, right? Like that word fix, like, kids aren't something that need to be fixed, first of all. And yet it was this, I remember having these conversations with them, like, this is going to be work on everybody's behalf. And I think that what's so complicated in these situations when you're facing, kids that are having major thoughts of suicide, and when you're facing kids that are deep down the hole of addiction, is like the blame game never works for anybody. And yeah, so I would say that in and of itself was like, this part of it, like we have to find a better way. And And I remember giving so many parents your book and just saying, here's a mom who's gone through experiences that you're experiencing. And I think that this might be helpful. And so, yeah, I would say that. And like, I don't know. I just found it again so interesting that we would have these kids that have faced so much more than they ever needed to, like more than I've ever experienced in my lifetime. And yet, I think that, again, when it comes to these decisions, I remember looking at these kids and I would sit alongside them. And sometimes my journey looked a lot like theirs, or maybe it was completely different. But it was like the difference between me and them was honestly a string of decisions, just a string of decisions. And every moment we get to decide. I remember being 8 years old, looking at my house and just the situation that I was in. And I remember thinking, there's got to be more to life than this. And like that was like
at
at 8.
8.
Yeah.
Wow.
And I just was on this mission to find whatever the it was like. And I remember like just truly exploring what quote unquote normal families look like and just immersing myself in like observing other people's families, other people's relationships. And I mean, I have come to learn there's nobody's right. There's no healthy, perfect family. And through the years, I've learned what healthy conflict can look like. That's something that I've personally like shut down and I just didn't believe that was possible. I didn't believe like there was such a thing as healthy anger. And just going back to my days in mental health and addictions with the kids, like I remember thinking, we don't teach our kids how to express emotions in a healthy way. It's just us as a society, right?
No.
And I remember taking that and wanting to bring that forward into when I became a mom, which I am now, and I'm in my three-nager stage of my 3-year-old.
Keeps you on your toes.
Yes.
Yeah.
And it's so interesting to me now as a mom to think, oh my God, I worked in mental health and addictions where I talked to parents all day long about things I had no idea about. I wasn't a parent yet. Like, who did I think I was? And yet I hope that somewhere in somebody's life, I at least planted a seed. Let's just hope. But anyway, parenthood is it is a way harder journey. And I mean, I'm just in the beginning.
Yeah.
It's way harder than you ever think. And yet it is life's greatest lessons.
100%. I couldn't agree more. And I think they're always teaching us. It's never easy to walk through some of those lessons. But I just love how you shared that first part. And I wanted to touch there because I feel like that was so foundational in seeing, like, I fully believe you did help people and help those families. And one of the hardest things when you're in that space is like, I'm going to say it, like taking ownership for yourself. Because as a parent, you're so stuck in like, what can I fix?
Yeah.
How do I fix something for somebody else? And it's such a shift to be able to be like taking responsibility for yourself. And I mean, that's another whole rabbit hole, but addiction is a family disease. It took me years to get that. It really did. I'm like, I don't have to work on anything. I don't have to change anything. They're the one with the problem. And all of a sudden it was like, no, I actually do have to work on things and I am part of it. So I think that that's a beautiful piece as you start to recognize it. And I'm sure that you've carried some of those lessons into working with cancer patients now, which is a different experience. How do you find yourself using tools in that setting?
Mm-hmm. Well, and I just have this belief that like, and again, just watching these kids, particularly 12 to 17 are the kids that I worked with. And it's like now fast forward, I'm typically working with an older population who are maybe in their 50s, 60s, 70s, typically. I mean, cancer patients, cancer can happen at any point. But I watched how all of these emotions, traumatic experiences, capital T traumas, lowercase t traumas, all of these things compound and they manifest themselves in the body. And now, fast forward, you have these individuals who have lived a lifetime of their own patterns and behaviors. And here we are. And so I find it so interesting because the conversations I have with families, it's like, okay, we just need to know what's coming next because I need to know what to brace for. And I go, oh, isn't that interesting language, right? Like maybe let's not brace for Yes.
Mhm.
Let's take a deep breath together.
And it won't change. Like you can't prepare yourself to deal with something difficult.
Yeah. And I think that in and of itself, I
Mhm.
think us again as a society, our nervous systems
Yeah.
think that by bracing, we're preparing. And yet there is no preparation other than full body trust.
Mm.
That is the preparation of life.
Okay, so well said. If full body trust is the preparation for life, how does that resonate for you in your life right now?
Well, I just wrote a chapter in Everybody Holds a Story.
Yes, you did. Yes, you
Yeah.
did.
And I talked about my own journey of going from like a pain to purpose and what that journey of trust looked like and how it's not something you just find one time. It is something that
Mhm.
you have to continue to, I'm going to say like free fall, like that trust fall. Like you have to literally let go again and again and again, over and over and over again. And yet it's honestly the most freeing thing you can do for yourself.
It's beautiful. That chapter, I do want to talk about that because by the time this episode comes out, we will have, the most of the pre-sales will be done. And I'm just curious, what has the experience been like from, writing and digging into your story and then also sharing it out there, right? Like you are selling a book and it feels almost like, oh, this feels uncomfortable, but you're sharing it. And I love how you keep reframing it. What was that experience like for you?
Oh, well, the people who facilitated it were fantastic. Sue, if you're listening, and of course,
She will
Marsha.
be listening. Yeah.
And no, it was such a great experience. And like support was there. The way that, okay, we got the time in the support to you go dig into your story. And then I just loved how it was like, okay, and now we're going to help you with some of the like structural editing. Cause it's like, you just get to stand on your story. And then the rest is, you get help with the rest, right? Like you don't have to have 10 degrees in English to write a book.
Do not even close. Actually, not even close. I used to think like that it was only for certain people, and I don't think it is. I really do believe, and I say this many times, I think the collaborative chapter is a fantastic way to start.
Yes. Yes, totally. And it was a complete excavation of myself, just going deep into my own thoughts in a period of time where I don't have a lot of memories around because your brain does a beautiful thing of like, just, okay, that felt really traumatic. Let's just push that away. And yet I think it was the most healing thing I could have done because I got to go release any stuck emotions I might have had with that story, which is important.
I love it. And it kind of opened up a little bit of a writing bug for you, didn't it?
Oh, yeah. Yeah. I got bit by the bug. And yes. So now I've been writing my own story of abandonment to belonging and what that journey has been for me. And yet I know like there are chapters that aren't written yet because they're not yet lived. And I think a large part of that is going to be creating a world of belonging for my son and what that framework will look like.
Oh, I love that you went there because, can I say, like when we did your breakthrough day and belonging was your number one value, which it's actually a core need for people. It really is. But I love how when we did this work, that was what came up. And it's interesting and so beautiful now that that's really what you want for your son as well.
Mm-hmm. And I think the misconception of belonging is that, it's belonging to other people, but there's two sides to the coin, right? And it's belonging to yourself first, and then you find your people, which leads me to my people, which happen to be in the Heartwired CEO group.
You find your people, like
all the groups.
I know, in all the groups. I love it. You find your people, and it's so interesting because, I don't know how many times, and I used to say it too, like the right people. I don't have the right people. I don't have the right people. And I remember hearing like, you have to go first. Like if you want to find like kind and compassionate people, like where can you be kind and compassionate? It honestly, I thought that was the silliest thing in the beginning because I'm like, oh my gosh, like, what am I just going to do that with strangers? Yeah, that's like kind of, and all of a sudden you find yourself in the rooms where it's like the right people who are helping to just really facilitate your own growth.
Yeah.
Hmm.
Yeah, totally. And I mean, the group of people in the Heartwired CEO, like, there's nothing more uplifting than the people in there, how they support each other and love on each other. And yeah, like that for me, like that's true belonging right there.
Mm. It's so interesting because my top value from my breakthrough day last year was ripple effect. And for me, I'm going to speak for me. I'm sure Meg is very similar, but for me, to see people working together and connecting and helping each other and like really supporting, that's just ripple effect. That's just like seeing that possibility of what's there. You attended the event last year, the Heartwired CEO event, and what was that experience like for you?
That to me was like winning the lottery. I was so excited. Well, I won my tickets from
You
the,
did.
yes, I
I
did.
forgot about that. Yes, you did. We
Yeah.
did a draw earlier in the year and you did win.
Yeah. Well, it was it the Cosmic Reset? I want to
Yeah,
say
that
it's
was all
called. Yeah.
Meg. Sorry. Anybody who's
Yeah.
listening, Meg, we love you. But there's something that was her idea, and it was so funny because you're like, the more I get to know you, that was not your idea. And I'm like, no, but this is what happens. Now, of course, I love astrology, but anyways,
Yeah. I
yeah,
know. She's come out of the astrology
I
closet.
have. Yes, I have. I have. Don't ask me any to retain anything yet.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, it's coming. Yeah.
Yeah, it's coming. It's coming for sure.
Yeah. No, it was just surreal. And I mean, to start the day off, a day that I was so excited for all year long. And I traveled over 3,000 kilometers to get there. And I woke up in the morning to my bank account being robbed.
Like, and seriously, like, just for a second, like robbed, like hacked.
Yeah.
Like you get
Yeah.
bank, not a credit card,
Yeah.
bank account.
Yeah. My actual debit checking account. Yeah.
And you're in a different province.
Different province.
Yeah.
6 a.m. Thank goodness I got up early. But there I am on the phone spending an hour getting all of my accounts shut down. And it was just, there it was. And I was like, I already knew this is teaching me something, right? This is teaching me to hold the duality of both,
Mhm.
because there I was going into like my high of all highs of the year and reaching a low at the same
Mhm.
time. So, but the event itself, the energy in that room was electric, right? Like every minute of every day, from the beautiful wave, like the nervous system wave that we went on of like going in deep, but coming back up. And it was just beautiful, very well facilitated. Like the amount of detail and thought that went into absolutely everything. And the beautiful Kim who helped facilitate it for you guys too. Her energy is just amazing.
It's amazing. Honestly, it is. And it's just a beautiful thing. So I'm like, I'm glad that you mentioned that because it is very different from other events, and I mean, when I first started, I traveled to the States for events. There was no Canadian event. We didn't have them. And so it's so awesome to be able to have access to something that I know it's not so far for you because you are definitely a distance away, but it really does open up that these things are possible within Canada as well. So I love that and that you shared that. So much of what I know you for and how I see you step in, the words like built from within really are a big part of you and your messaging. And I know I've already heard it a couple times today. Can you share a little bit about what that means?
Yeah. Well, Build from Within itself is a program that I developed, like a guided audio experience. But the whole thing itself represents this version of us that we get to create, whether it's in the future and bringing it into the now. So to start the process, we have a quiz that's built off your internal representation, right? And we have our different lens that we see the world through, whether it's visual, auditory, kinesthetic, digital auditory. And this is the same way that we create our relationships, your home, your life. And when you understand your representation system, you get to create in a way that is aligned for your system. And so, anyways, so the quiz itself is called What is Your Renovation Language? So, and then it sort of drops into the ways later on in the episode. So we sort of start off in a a guided, it's a guided sort of meditation slash just audio experience where you get to like journey out into the future, whatever that looks like, whether that's a day from now, 2 weeks from now, 5 years
Mm-hmm.
from now,
Mm-hmm.
and just see what you see, feel what you feel. And then we slowly start to bring that into the now and build it out in baby steps. And it's just, I just think it's really cool because it uses the tools of the subconscious mind
Mm-hmm.
to tap into your most aligned self.
Which, when you came to me with the idea, I remember going, wow, I wouldn't have thought of it. Like, it's such a cool thing to take those tools and use it for like within renovations. Now, it's interesting. Where was the moment that you went, I think this is a piece that can support this? Because I told you, I've not seen that before. Didn't even know that that was a possibility, but it's really, really unique offering.
Yeah. Well, I think the beauty of taking outspoken is you start your own internal representation system.
Yeah.
You start seeing that everywhere you
Mm.
go.
Mm-hmm.
So not only do I use it in my nursing practice when I'm talking with my people over the phone, but I also, I started to look at our construction business and we had one particular client that came to us and she had been a widow and she spent her whole life just doing whatever basically her husband wanted.
Mm-hmm.
And so now she's come to this turning point in her life where she's now tapping into this version of herself where she gets to do whatever it is that she's always wanted. And I think she was a little bit confused on the vision because I don't always think we give ourselves the permission to dream,
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
And so I just remember thinking, I sound like Meg, there's a better way. But truly,
But there is. I love that you combine that with renovation.
yeah. And so now we have in our program, we offer a 5% discount on renovation so we can help bring that dream to fruition when you go through our Built From Within program.
Mm-hmm.
And yeah, and I mean, I think the program itself, like you can take we also offer like a DIY stream. So we talk about DIY versus renovation in the program. But you can, like the program itself anybody can take it. And then if you do choose to do a renovation on a contractor, we offer that discount.
The more we were talking about it too, it really started to help me even think about the space that I live in, even if I'm not renovating. So for example, like we're still doing it. We started in January, redoing my office, and it's like we gutted half of it. And the way you spoke about it, it was like, I never thought about how I want it to feel, which is crazy because I'm in here like 10, 12 hours a day sometimes. Like, why would I not think about how I want it to feel? And I think that's a piece of it. So even if it's not the renovations, the way that this can support people in how they want to live, like what they want their home to feel like.
Yeah. We had talked about before, like just doing like inventory of your space of what feels heavy, what feels light, what lights you up. What's a chapter where you're ready to put that away? Or where do you want to honor somebody in your life, in your home? So yeah.
Yeah, I love how
so
you
meaningful.
blended that. And when I think of Built From Within, and you have the program, you have the way that it builds into your business, your chapter, everything. Who is Kristie and how is she built from within?
I think the version of me, Kristie today, she's just getting started.
I love it.
That's the exciting part. But yeah, no, I think Built From Within truly means that you get to decide, right? Every aspect of your life, whether it is your home, the way you parent, the way you show up to whatever work, business thing that you do in your life, you get to bring the version of you and you get to align yourself with your highest self and move towards that.
Which is something that we really do want for everyone, right? Like if we go back to what you said in the beginning, is that like a lot of people aren't thriving and not even knowing it's an option. Like literally not even knowing it's an option. It's such an interesting time because there is a lot of challenges and there is a lot of noise. So we get to choose what we are taking in. And we always joke about, the algorithm is that's what's on your mind, literally. Like what if you open up your Instagram and you look at it, that's what's telling you what's on your mind. So it shows how much agency you can have in your life and what you can choose to think, even though it can have its hard moments. But I just love that and thinking of it with built from within in that way.
Yeah. No, I love the way you frame that about, because yeah, it's a transferable thing everywhere you go.
Oh yeah. And I see that in self-leadership, which is something I see you do because I watch you and it's always interesting to me because I'm like, I see some of me. I think there's some similarity. But you're so, you have a lot of things on the go, but you're always like ideas are coming, ideas are flowing. How you lead is important. And I think that's fantastic. And I was so happy to be able to have you here today.
Oh yeah. No, thank you. It's like I said, dream come true.
So your voice is meant to be shared. It is definitely meant to be shared. I've listened to your bundle in Built from Within. You definitely have a voice that can share that. As you put this out there and you're like sharing this episode, what is it that you want somebody to know that you haven't shared yet that would help them through maybe a real transition in their life that they can build themselves from within? What is something you want them to know?
I think what comes to my mind when you ask me that is the title of your book, like When She Stopped Asking Why. Because even with myself in the different journeys that I've been on, it's like the moment that you stop questioning why everything's happening to you and then just making that decision that you're going to do things differently, show up differently, lead yourself differently. And that radical responsibility, it's just truly a game changer.
Mm-hmm. It's a real shift in agency, right? Like showing you can, which I understand. Like if somebody's listening to this and they have a little bit of it hits a trigger in a sense, because I didn't understand it for the longest time. I really didn't. I thought, how can I do that? I'm like raising kids in this mess. Like I have no control, but we still always have control in how we show up and how we respond and what that looks like. And it takes practice to do so, but it's so worth it.
Yeah. I remember I was listening to in the Outspoken, I was always just learning. So I would have it in the shower. And I remember being in the shower when you had talked about living at cause. And I remember looking around, and even though I had like the year prior had this beautiful wedding where we did these shadow vows and sacred vows, and the shadow vows were the parts of ourselves that we were owning going into the relationship. And yet when you talked about living at cause, I realized, oh my God, I blame all my problems on my husband. My favorite thing to do.
Sorry, John.
Yeah, that's right.
Sorry, John.
And yeah. No, but it's just funny because even though, I can say this, we're all human. We all do it. And
100%.
it's just catching yourself, right? And when you find yourself going down that, I don't want to say victim mindset, but it can be because it can consume you when you decide that that's what your mindset is, right?
If you're stuck in that mindset, then all you're doing is asking those questions. So you keep seeing more of it. And it's like, this isn't working. And then this isn't working. And it's like, all of a sudden, it's like it just ripples through into everything. And there are times I literally stop and laugh and I'm like, wow, that did not take any time at all to like spill into every aspect. Like just interesting what happened with that mindset.
Our RAS, our reticulating activating system.
Yeah, you got it. You got it. It's just responding to us, right? Like, which is a beautiful thing because we actually do have more agency and control than we think we do. I often say like it's responding to you. Yeah.
I remember when The Secret came out and people were talking about positive thinking. And my mom used to have these Post-it notes all over the house of whatever it was that she said she wanted. And I remember like thinking, I don't think this is working. But like how much of the actual work she was doing, I have no idea. But at the end of the day, it's what you look for, you will find.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Oh, I love that. It's so true. It's so true. So you have the book coming out, which is coming out very soon. You set a goal for how many books you wanted to sell. What was that goal?
The goal was 40 and I'm at like 37. So I'm doing pretty good. So
you are, even there, right? Did it feel like a little bit of a stretch?
Maybe in the beginning, but like you had shared a reel today about how it's going to take more reps than you think.
Yeah.
And I mean, I just truly detached myself from the outcome. And what I did was I created a spreadsheet and I said, who are these 40 beautiful souls going to be that get to read my story?
Oh,
And when you
love
look
that.
at it from that lens, it's just like, it's exciting, it's curiosity, and it changes the energy because it's like, I thought of you. You might want to read this.
Well, you get to be surprised too, right? Like sometimes when you go into it with that curiosity, all of a sudden it's like, oh, I had a couple people buy and I was like, oh, I didn't think that would be like, it just didn't occur to me that somebody would buy that. But when you open up your thinking of what's possible, other ideas come in.
Yeah,
Mm,
exactly.
I love it. So
Mhm.
you have the book. We will be seeing you twice this year for like between, right? You and me in Ontario, which is so awesome. And I'm just wondering, is there anything else that you want to share with the listeners that, this show, it
Mhm.
like probably right up there with, trust me, I love that. And I so appreciate it. And I know that it was hard because you couldn't be there for the 1000th because again, 3,000 kilometers away. But I love that you were there in heart celebrating it. Is there anything else that you want to share to people when it comes to the concept of own your choices, own your life?
Well, are you gonna ask me the question of?
Oh, it's coming. Not yet. It's
Okay.
coming. You know the
Okay.
question. Oh, I
You
don't.
know the question.
Yeah,
I've been prepared for the question.
it's coming.
Yeah. Well, one other thing I want to share, not necessarily in relation to what you just asked me, but one of the things that I am going to be working on is using the tools that I've learned in Outspoken to also create sort of like a brand breakthrough for people and
Mhm.
offering photo shoots when I do go to Ontario for that week. So yeah, I will be there twice, but one is for the Master Prac and then
Yeah.
the other one will be for the book launch and the Heartwired CEO Live. And so anyways, in between there, if anybody's open to that, we can do that. And yeah, I don't know. I don't necessarily think I have any other insights into owning your choices, owning your life. Other than that, I just think it's the best name and the best mantra. And I'm so glad you kept the name in the 10 years.
It's been so neat because a lot of people like, and that's fine, change your name if it doesn't speak to you. But the more I look at it, I'm like, it's totally, I say it all the time. It's like, it's part of the lesson and everything that's there. So, taking it back to the brand options and what you're going to be doing with people in photography, like that, I promise you, if you're interested in it, because well, I'll have claimed one of the spots, but anyways, is it the beginning of November, you will be here and doing that. So why is this different than like a photography for your website? Why is this different?
Yeah. Well, I think when you use the subconscious tools, you get to really tap into those highest values of yourself and how you want to carry that forward into your brand and what that looks like. And also using the tools to help with most people. I see it all the time. My camera goes up and the contraction happens on the
Oh,
other end of it,
wow.
right? That fear of visibility and that like people just know when there's a camera on them. My 3-year-old knows when there's a camera on him. It's fascinating, right? I think it's a deep rooted fear. And yet, what I have learned through doing the work with you and Meg and the Heartwired CEO and through Outspoken, it's like, for me, again, going back to belonging, when we belong to ourselves first,
Mm-hmm.
we can then increase our capacity for visibility and using our voice because by doing so, you find your people and you create that belonging with others.
I love that. I love that. That's beautiful. Thank you for sharing that because that is, if you are someone who is looking to have like some brand photo shoots done, I would really strongly encourage you to connect with Kristie because this is a way where it's not just about getting pictures. I can't tell you how many times in my years of entrepreneurship, especially the last 6 years, I have a handful of photo shoots that I've done that I like. Okay, I have way more than a handful. And some it was very much transactional, right? Here's your 30 minutes, here's your 30 pictures. And I remember once I finished And I looked at the pictures. I'm like, my collar was all tucked under and my necklace was tied up for all the pictures. Like, you never said anything. Like, this is
Mhm.
so wild to me that, again, transactional. But then there's other ones who I feel like captured that personality and the energy, right? So I love that you're sharing that.
Yeah. And I think one of the things, like just being on my own journey of photography and all self taught, but I think one of the things people, not everybody, but just people don't always feel comfortable posing people, right? And I think people immediately get uncomfortable. And when you do that, or they'll tell them to do whatever they feel comfortable doing, which isn't necessarily what's going to translate on the other end of the
Mm-hmm.
camera.
Oh, good point.
So yeah. So learning how to get people comfortable in those poses, first it takes them out of their head and into their body.
Mm-hmm.
And now all of a sudden they get to be in the energy of it too.
Oh, that's good. That's good. That's really good. Oh, I have loved chatting with you. Where can people find you, connect, and learn more about you?
Yeah. So I'm at Kristie Crate on Instagram.
Mhm.
I have our Built from Within. I think I'm going to give you the links
Yeah.
for the show notes.
Yep.
Yeah. And yeah, that's the best place. We have websites and stuff, but I'll be everywhere
It's
and anywhere.
a little, like, literally connecting on Instagram. I honestly, it's been so special to have you in the spaces and get to know you more. And it's interesting because we did cross paths a long time ago, but I didn't really get to know you until like this last couple of years. So it's been beautiful to watch and witness and to see your growth. And I want nothing more than to see people like understand how many different ways you can take these tools and what you can do with them. And I know you're just getting started. Like, I know that there's so much that's going to continue to unfold. So it's been great. I'm just grateful to have you here and to share this with everyone. And my last question, what
Yeah.
lesson in life are you most grateful for?
Well, so I will say,
My
I have a
prepped
few.
interview. Sorry.
That's right. Yes. Only been preparing for over 1,000 episodes. But no, honestly, what I've got a couple answers to this, but one of them is like NLP taught me that I don't have to carry these stories anymore, right?
Mm,
We get to decide what we're going to do with them, whether it's put them down or stand on that story, shout it from the rooftops. Like it doesn't matter. You get to choose.
hmm
But the point is you get to choose. And the the journey that brought me here, ultimately, like all of the tough moments brought me to Meg. Meg brought me NLP. NLP brought me to you.
hmm
So yeah, it's just full circle moment. So okay. And we've got lots of work left to do.
Oh, we do. I know it. There'll be a part two. There'll be a part two.
That's right.
Oh, so grateful. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you for, putting your name in and saying, hey, I would love to be a guest, which I love the initiative. I absolutely love it. And I was very grateful to have you here today.
Oh, thank you. So grateful.